So I think we all know that I went undercover as a 300-pound woman. Do you guys remember that? 300-pound woman. I went undercover as a man. That was fun. I went undercover as a stripper. That wasn't so fun. And I went undercover as a homeless woman. All on the Tyra Show. And we've done hidden camera investigations on everything from the dangers of dating to modeling scams. I remember, the modeling scam undercover thing was no joke. Now, these are some of the Tyra Show social experiments that I love doing because I feel we're all fascinated by what people will do and how they'll react when they do not think anybody is watching. And that's what my show True Beauty was all about, actually. It was on ABC with Ashton Kutcher. And that's exactly why we love the hit ABC News show, What Would You Do? How many people have you guys seen that show? How many? I love that show. And the anchor of What Would You Do, John Quinones, is here, and we're going to meet him a little later. But first, we set up our own Tyra Show social experiment to ask the question, what would you do? Check this out.
We put together our own troupe of actors and gave them characters and scenarios that would test an average person's sense of right and wrong. Next, our undercover crew put hidden cameras and secret microphones all over this restaurant. Then we brought in some typical New Yorkers who thought they were interviewing to be guests on the show. What they didn't know was that they were actually taking part in an elaborate social experiment. What we saw was fascinating. Our first setup was fairly simple. We cast Ben as a waiter who's a little clumsy. And Katie is playing a girl who's about to be served a very unsanitary meal. While our witnesses waited, they couldn't miss seeing Katie get up from her table and seeing Ben drop her Danish right on the floor. But while Katie's back is turned, Ben just picks it up and sets it right back down on Katie's table. Will one of our witnesses speak up, or will they let Katie eat that disgusting Danish?
Oh my gosh, show of paddles, would you get involved if you saw a waiter drop some food, pick it up, put it on somebody's plate to serve them? Okay, we got a lot of yeses. We got probably about 78% yeses. Look at that math I just did in my head. Okay, so who would say something? Who would say something? Okay, stand on up. What's your name?
I'm Rebecca.
Rebecca, you would say something. Why would you say something?
I mean, why wouldn't you say something? There's nothing to lose, and it's disgusting. Drop their food on the floor. That's rude if you didn't say something. I mean, last week, one of my friends had this nasty little black curly hair in her sandwich, and we were like, you have a hair in your sandwich, and we took it out, but why wouldn't you say something?
Did she eat the sandwich after you took the hair out?
Yeah.
Oh my, and it was a short, curly, so it was either a black man or something else.
Yeah, something below.
Or something else. Okay. Stand on up. And what about you? You said that you would not say something. Why wouldn't you say anything?
3-second rule.
3-second rule?
He dropped, he put it right back on a plate. He's done.
Even a waiter? I mean, in a restaurant?
You worked in a restaurant before?
No. No.
There's worse in the kitchen.
Are you serious? They drop stuff? You've worked in a restaurant?
Yes.
And they drop
We
stuff?
drop fries on the floor, put them right in the fryer and fry them and serve them. Because they tell you don't waste food, so you got to do it.
Oh my God. Somebody just yelled out, where the heck are you working? Okay, well, let's see how people reacted. Did they react with the short hair curly thing by saying something, or the 3-second restaurant rule that he's talking about? Let's check out our nasty waiter.
Our guests all saw Katie stand up. They all saw her food hit the floor. And they all saw Ben brush it off and set it down like nothing ever happened. And even though they knew her Danish was dirty, most of them still let her dig right in. Best friends Becca and Casey couldn't have cared less if Katie ate it or not. Scotty seemed more interested in his paper than breaking the bad news to Katie about her dirty Danish. And Carla might have been better off keeping quiet. She watched Katie take 2 big bites and then told her that her food was dirty.
That food fell on the floor, just so you know.
But out of all the witnesses, Renee is the only one who said something.
You dropped it on the floor.
But she seemed to understand if Katie still wanted to eat it.
You might want to answer another one. Unless you believe in them. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, well, we're going to meet some of the people who reacted to this social experiment, the ones that did something and the ones that did not. We'll be right back. The people on my stage do not know why they're on the Tyra Show right now, but you all are about to find out. I know you're very curious, right? Like, why am I here? Okay, you guys were just part of a Tyra Show experiment. Yesterday, you all witnessed something, and we wanted to see what you would do. I'm going to remind you about what you saw. Check it out.
Our guests all saw Katie's food get dropped on the floor. But that doesn't mean that they would actually tell her about it. Guest after guest sat back and watched her eat. And in the end, Renee's the only one who spoke up.
You dropped it on the floor.
So, Renee,
Yes.
what compelled you to tell her to not eat that food?
Well, the guy dropped it on the floor, wiped it off and looked at me, and just set it on there, ran away.
Oh my gosh.
And she just got done fighting with her boyfriend and came over. I mean, who's gonna eat food that was just on the floor? So
Yeah.
I had to say something.
That's interesting that you said the waiter dropped it and then looked at you. He almost
Yeah.
looked at you like, you with me, right? You're not gonna say anything, right? That's what it seemed like. Okay, Carla waited until she took a couple of bites. So she took a couple of bites.
I was kind of in disbelief, like, what? Like, he just walked away? Like, I didn't understand what was going on. It took me a couple of minutes. I'm like, wait, this isn't right. So, it took a minute to, like, set in.
And then Scotty, Casey, and Becca, you guys were just looking like, oh my gosh, but didn't say anything.
I saw it, but I didn't think anything. I felt bad.
You felt bad? But not bad enough to say anything. Okay, and then Scotty, what about you? You didn't say anything.
I saw it, but I kind of think that kind of stuff is hilarious, so I kind of let it go. I was like, 5-second rule never hurt anybody, so.
Oh, now it's the 5-second rule.
5-second rule, no
I thought it
problem.
was the 3-second rule.
Oh, is it really 3 seconds?
Well, maybe
All
it's
right.
5 for you.
5, 2 more seconds, not a big deal,
For
right?
some people, it's like 5 minutes. You know? I know somebody that has the 5-minute rule. She's in the studio right now. Inside joke with the producers. Now, the actors from the scenario are here. Stand on up. Ben, Andre, and Katie. First of all, I have to ask you, so you ate it for us. Like, it went on the floor and everything, and you ate it. Give her a hand for being an actress. Because it wasn't switched out or anything. You ate it. So, who surprised you guys the most out of all our people here?
I guess Carla surprised me the most because she waited for me to leave before she said anything, and after Katie took 2 bites, I thought at that point, just let her be oblivious to the fact, you know, that
And
it was
she
on
was
the
like
floor.
scared of Ben because I was watching her from behind a newspaper, and she was all like watching to see where the waiter was, and every time he almost came, she was like, I'm not gonna say anything. And then he would go away and she almost said something, and then he would go, and it was just like, what are you afraid of?
Katie's just chomping away.
Just chomping away. Now, if somebody dropped you guys' Danish on the floor and didn't tell you, would it make you upset if you found out later that you ate a Danish that was on a hotel floor? Yeah?
Definitely.
Yeah? So you said it was funny, Scotty. Would it be funny if it happened to you?
Well, I guess for the most part, it's, you know, whoever drops the food, that's their responsibility to make sure that that doesn't end up on somebody's table.
So it's not about, like, watching your neighbor and having your neighbor's back? No.
I didn't know you.
Any of you guys ever work in the restaurant business? Anybody?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Casey, you worked in restaurant business?
Yeah.
And did you ever drop something and pick it up?
I shouldn't say that, but I mean, not like, it depends what it was, really.
What? Like what? Okay, so let's get the categories. What are the things that you have dropped where you think it's okay?
Like bagels, if there's nothing on it. Not on the floor, but like on the counter.
So anything that's kind of dry, that is not sticky.
If there's cream cheese, then you could see what's on it.
Okay, so bagels are okay to drop for you when you were working in a restaurant. What else? What about silverware? Would you drop silverware?
Yeah, I usually like throw it out, but I mean, if no one's around.
No one's around. Okay, Scotty, what about you? What have you dropped in served?
You know, I would never serve anything that I dropped on the floor. That's something that I
Have you seen it though?
Only in that instance. I've never seen anyone drop anything on the floor and then actually serve it to a guest. So
Okay.
yeah.
So I want to go back to you. Stand on up. Okay, so you said that you've seen things. She's dropped bagels, and you've worked in restaurants. What have you dropped and picked up?
Hot dogs, the rolls, things like that.
Hot dogs? Hot dog buns?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's closed now.
The place is closed. I wonder why. We'll be right back.